Where did snooker originate? What equipment did they use? How did it develop? Who actually invented it and when? Some of these questions are easier to answer than others. The British Army was instrumental at some point in the process, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Billiards predates snooker, so we really have to go back to the origins of billiards to understand how snooker's history has developed.
The origins of billiards are very obscure, but one of the game's first mentions in popular culture comes in Shakespeare's play Antony and Cleopatra. The link to its outdoor relation croquet can be traced to these early illustrations and pictures, showing hoops on the surface of the table. Even the likes of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart wasn't averse to a game. Anyway, from the lawn it was brought indoors, and for convenience was raised to table height. And it wasn't just Mozart, but the likes of Mary Queen of Scots and Louis XIV playing the game. Even Charles Dickens was an avid billiards fan. The Broadland Snooker Centre in Norwich plays host to one man's obsession with Green Bay's memorabilia. It's a fantastic setting in which to absorb some of the game's great history. And it's all down to Roger Lee.
Well, Roger, I don't suppose many snooker players and fans these days know too much about the history of the game, but it's brought indoors from croquet.
That's right.
And billiards is the chosen game. Why was it called billiards?
Well, we don't know for sure, but there is a fable, and I do emphasise it is a fable, that a certain William Q, who was a pawnbroker who lived in St Paul's area of London, one day on a rainy day decided to take the 3 balls down from his shop and bring him indoors and started pushing them around on a table in his shop.
No.
And to push them around, he used a yardstick.
Go on.
So the word Bill Yards, he was pushing them around in Bill Yards stick.
Oh, no, I'm not having it. I'm not buying it. I'm
You're
sorry.
not buying it. Well, that is a fable, and I don't think that's how it originated, but that's the fable.
Surely there's some sort of connotation with the French word somehow. That
There is a French derivative. Yeah, well, Bill is French for Q, and that's where yeah, there's a connection there. And we believe probably the game just originated in France.
I'll have that one.
You like that
Put
one?
me down for that one, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we bring it indoors,
Yeah.
and it's played on a table.
Yes.
12 by 6?
Not initially, and it's not sure exactly when a 12 by 6 table was standardised, but in the early days of various sizes and various designs, yeah.
French played with no pockets, from my memory anyway.
Yes.
And English, that's where they diverged. The English played with the pockets.
Yes, the French did play with pockets, but for some reason they decided to get rid of the pockets and just play the carom game.
Well, they're not very good, are
No.
they? That's the way it is.
You can
yes.
say that.
Okay, we've got the game. 3 balls made of ivory, apparently.
Yeah, well, originally they would be of wood, coming from croquet. They then went on to wood. And again, we don't know exactly when ivory was introduced, but yeah, ivory became, right up to about 1927, ivories were used. And of course, that wasn't good for the elephant population.
No, okay, and we have the game of billiards. Obviously, it would have been stupid for them to walk into the club, stand on the table with the croquet mallets.
Yes, they didn't have mallets. They had the maces.
Maces?
Maces.
Not
yeah.
a cue?
Well, not initially, no. A mace was pushed around similar to, you know, with a mallet, but pushed around. But when the ball got close to a cushion, someone decided to use the other end, and that was the beginning of using a stick. So they used the sharp end of the mace, if you like.
So the game of billiards was played during the 1800s, and was it a standardised rules?
The rules of billiards, certainly the first book on billiards with rules and the instructions of how to play the game was White's Treatise on Billiards of 1807.
Which you just happened to have?
Yes, which I just happened to have.
What a coincidence.
Look at this.
Wow, look at that. Okay, so throughout the 1800s billiards was played, but at some stage there must have been some temptation to put more balls on the table.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there were various number of games with different number of balls. There was life pool and pyramids, and it was Colonel Sir Neville Chamberlain, who was stationed in Jabalpur in India in 1875, combined those 2 games to form the game of snooker as we know today.
And you have a very rare piece of memorabilia there, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I've got a letter here from a merchant seaman who describes the game of snooker as it was first played by Colonel Sir Neville Chamberlain.
Wow. And I can imagine him coming back home and saying, I've just found this new game, and showing all of his friends.
Exactly.
Life pool, as it was known in 1875, would regularly involve a pool of up to a dozen players, each having their own cue ball and taking turns to try and pot each other's ball in a fixed rotation, decided by drawing the balls from a life pool wicker bottle. Those potted would lose a life and pay a monetary forfeit. After losing a number of lives, a player was eliminated from the game, an early form of what would become the gambling game Killer. The principle of a single cue ball and the lack of a pack of reds were missing in black pool. However, there was also a completely different game called Pyramids. This involved 15 red balls being placed in a pyramid formation in the same position as modern snooker, and the players shared a single cue ball in trying to pot the reds.
So Neville invents a game that's a merging of other games. People like it so much that they're writing home about it.
Yes.
But why is it called snooker?
Well, snooker was a slang term for a first-year cadet at the Royal Woolwich Arsenal. And being a first-year cadet, he would be of low standing. And when Neville Chamberlain was playing his new game, he suddenly found he couldn't hit the object ball. So he turned to his opponent and says, "Why, you're a regular snooker," as if to say, "You're a person of low standing. How can you do this to me?"
So the game is basically poor form.
Poor form,
Poor
yes.
form.
Absolutely.
You're a rotter.
Damn rotter, yes.
Shall we have a game of rotters while we're here?
Yeah, why not?